This is the SuperSport Schools podcast, bringing you stories of our future stars, powered by Spur Steak Ranchers.
1, 2, 3, go!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the SuperSport Schools podcast, brought to you by Spur. Tim and I are back, and we're back at Rondebosch.
And back for the first time, not in matching gear.
Yeah, we
Look at that.
managed not to
I
coordinate.
mean, same colors, so
Yeah.
same vibe, but not the exact same clothes, which is a benefit. So then it looks like our mom's dressed up,
Yeah, and they coordinated before,
Yeah.
so now we're at
like
least
they do with
different.
twins.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about people thinking we're twins, but when we dress sometimes. Yeah. Let's talk about water polo.
Yes.
That's what we're discussing on the show today. We do have a quiz later on. You're giving me a quiz, which I don't know how to feel. I
Don't
never
worry-
do.
don't
I'm
worry
always
about it.
scared.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and when you say things like that, it doesn't make
Don't
me...
worry about it.
Okay, water polo, did you ever play at school?
Okay, so no, but yes. Because no, it makes sense though. Because remember playing football at break?
Yeah, so you wouldn't say you played football
I
at school?
didn't play.
Okay,
I didn't
yes.
play team, but PE. They'll
Yeah.
throw a ball in. Obviously, I chuck about. I was pretty decent at it because basketball really does help with.
With the strength
Yeah.
and being able to grip a ball in one hand and be able to throw it. And
Yeah, I can
all of
never
that.
palm a basketball, but a water polo ball, that
Yeah.
was fine. And then one
Okay.
hand, and it worked out. What about you?
No,
Just
nothing. No, I can barely swim, so...
oh, you played cricket. That is it.
Yeah. No, so water polo is never for me. Just imagining treading water for that long, I just can't.
See, that was the painful one because everybody would talk about water polo practice. Like, oh yeah, we're meant to tread for an hour as fitness. I'm like, that sounds like my personal hell.
Yeah, so you're not going to do... Well, we've had, I think, 2 episodes to do with water polo before. We've had Duncan Woods, who we're going to interview a little bit later on. We've had him on the show before, but we were talking to him more about the mental aspect of sport. Somebody else we've had on the show is Lee Keat. She's a water polo referee, international water polo referee, and we interviewed her in Durban last year or the year before. And she told me and taught me something quite interesting. So I'm going to ask you, just before we get into the interview, this question.
Okay.
Do you know, and this is a general rule, so it doesn't always hold, but in general, why a sport will have a referee or why it will have an umpire? What the difference is between what they get called?
Is it on number? Is it on
Like the number of players?
number of players or where the sport originated?
No. So it's very weird. It's to do with whether the sport has a weapon or not. So sports like tennis, squash, hockey, cricket, you have
Chess.
weapons.
The
Well,
mind
I
is a
don't-
weapon. The mind is a
okay.
weapon.
Sports where you have a physical weapon, hockey, tennis, squash, cricket, all have weapons, all have umpires.
Okay.
Rugby, football, water polo, don't have weapons, they have referees. Very broad. I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule, especially with funny American sports, but in general, basketball, referee, no weapon. Exactly. There we go. Okay, so on the show today, we're going to talk to Duncan Woods about Elevate Water Polo. Here he is. Enjoy. Duncan, it's good to have you back on the SuperSport Schools podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. I think just to start off, for those who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about you and your water polo journey?
Thanks so much, guys. Great to be on the pod with you again. I started in Johannesburg, went to school at St. John's, and I was a competitive swimmer in primary school. And then all of a sudden, my brother went into high school and came home in the first summer practice of water polo, and he said, "This is the most amazing sport he's ever played." So I was kind of following in his footsteps, and at the same time, my swimming times were getting slower. So I wanted to start chasing something a little bit more fun. So chasing a ball around a pool, and got into water polo.
So the reason we're here today, you even have it on your jersey, Elevate Water Polo. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Thanks. Elevate started about 2.5 years ago now. We've been watching this space. I've been involved in water polo for the last 30 years, since I began back then. And just watching this space just gather so much interest and enthusiasm and numbers, and there's just so much development in the game. So about 3 years ago, my business partner came up to me and said, "Listen, there's something here. Let's do something cool with the sports. There's so much we see that could be done better or more exciting in a more exciting way, and there's so much room for growth and development." So Elevate started up like that.
So tell us a little bit then about what Elevate is and what it does.
Sure. Elevate is really a water polo excellence program. We focus on 3 kind of strands, which the one being athlete development. So that can range from anything from camps, which we've recently done a couple of camps around the country, tours, which we've recently done some tours to Spain. And then the second pillar is coach development. So we've developed a kind of coach education curriculum for Schools Water Polo South Africa to try and develop more coaches, to make more coaches confident in their real understanding and in-depth knowledge of the game, not just, you played water polo, so here's a whistle, you must be able to coach it, rather putting some rigor into the process and developing coaches. And then the third strand is program development. So we consult to schools, we consult to regions, and we have some programs that we try and develop a holistic program, help people to understand what different skills are required at different age groups, how to put a program together, what to train in January versus what to train in August, all those kind of nuances that we've developed over the years of being around the game.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to touch on the tour that you had over June, but I just want to know a bit what you've seen in the growth. I mean, as you say, water polo is loved in this country. You can't go anywhere without, the polo guys, the polo gals, just in the pool, loving it. And the fact that you've offered the space for the growth, and what growth have you seen because of Elevate?
Not because of Elevate. I think Elevate's benefited from the growth. So I always use the analogy when I was kind of in the game at school or just after school, we were kind of this weird fringe group of people who played this crazy game. And now at every braai I go to, every weekend, I've got parents wanting to talk to me about their kids' water polo careers. So it's fundamentally changed. We're seeing, as you said, girls loving the sport of all ages, shapes and sizes, boys getting into it. And there's just this kind of exciting bubbling up of activity around water polo.
When we talk about water polo on SuperSport schools, it's always as one of the most popular sports. It's one that's also growing all the time, and this is something you're talking about, obviously. And what I always find interesting is that we do so well at school level. There's so many schools playing water polo. It's always so competitive. We've had derby days at these pools many times, and we're sort of heading into summer where that will be happening again. But then you look at our sort of teams going off to international competitions and things and not doing as well. So what do you think the sort of bridge is that needs to be, or what's the gap that needs to be bridged?
So I think in the first instance, the schools program across all the boards for the main sports is excellent. We have fantastic schools. We have a huge amount of supportive infrastructure around school sports, and water polo is certainly benefiting greatly from that. After school, we run into a big problem area where we don't have a lot of tertiary institutions offering water polo or offering strong water polo programs. And we find that, quite tragically, after the schools IPT, which I know SuperSport schools cover extensively, that's almost seen as the finale of your water polo career, which is, couldn't be further from the truth. As an athlete, you're 17. You've got your best years still ahead of you. Water polo is a game which we've had people play at top level until they're 40, so it really is a shortcoming of the game. We need to simply provide better structures for people to go from a great school system into a strong university age system and into a strong club and senior system, which is something that Elevate is supporting. We can't do it alone. We need the ecosystem to be healthy. We need more institutions kind of getting on board. We need to be kind of playing ball with our national federations and really trying to work towards a same goal.
I mean, I think what you're doing will add to that game. I mean, you guys saying that, we're training coaches, and having top coaches at these institutions will help. And like many sports, it's all about the culture within it, and the fact that you're creating this community of players that really love it and want to do it. I mean, we can only see good things from here. That can't be a negative for the growth. But let's touch on your tour to Barcelona. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
With pleasure. So we've been working with the Barcelona International Water Polo Academy for about 2 years now. And we chose Barcelona because I've only discovered this in the last couple of years as well, is that Barcelona is this, it's the capital of water polo in Europe, right? There's 12 to 20 clubs, which at any point will be fielding extremely competitive teams. And I'm talking, when I say teams, programs from, senior level right down to the kids. So in one city, you have this huge concentration of talent, and they are brilliant at boys water polo, girls water polo, men's water polo, ladies water polo. The national Spanish program is based in Barcelona, so that really attracts all the talent from around Spain to one place. So we just love going there, and this trip was amazing. It was our second visit, and we normally train for 4 days of intensive training with the Barcelona Academy, which is just so exciting as a coach. You just see, players, South African players arrive on Sunday, a little bit unsure of themselves, and by Wednesday of the next week, they are just flying. They've got confidence. They have a deeper understanding of the sport. And then we headed into a tournament, which the boys, under 16 boys from Elevate, did extremely well. We won the tournament, and the girls had a very competitive tournament and finished fourth. But we're really challenged, and just the kind of exposure that we need in this country is to have our teams being challenged. And we're starting to see results, guys, which is so exciting. This was the dream of Elevate, is to start have a positive impact on the game, and we're starting to see in a short period of time, we're starting to see some results abroad, which is great.
And you've been flying the flag high. You say the boys coming first, the girls coming fourth. That's so cool that you're able to go to an international competition and compete on that level, because it's giving the kids such good exposure to water polo in the rest of the world, and at that more sort of high performance environment that you talk about, which you'll see sports in South Africa, cricket, rugby, they have that high performance environment here. And then, like you've said, with tertiary education and it lacking a bit here in South Africa for water polo, it's great that they get that experience. So you took 2 teams of 14 boys, 14 girls, or 1 team of 14 boys, 1 team of 14 girls. And sort of how's that team comprised? Kids from all over the country?
Yeah, still biased towards the larger centres. I think the amount of activity in Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Durban plays a factor. We have had some great girls and boys from the Eastern Cape, which has been awesome to see, and that region is starting to actually blossom and deliver us some great players. Yeah, so really exciting, and just awesome to see these athletes grow over a very short period of time, which gives you confidence that if we keep doing more things like this, we can continue that trajectory.
Did the boys and girls get any chance to do some sightseeing while they were over there, or was it just full intensive the whole time?
Well, we have a rule on the trip, is that when we are playing water polo, we're all in.
Yeah.
And when we break from the pool, then we want them to just kind of enjoy the experience. Obviously, travel is such a gift for a young person, so we try and give them a nice balance of a nice tourist experience. But when it's on, we need to be on.
I love that. A little bit of a work hard, play hard. Really brings the team together.
Yeah, indeed. I remember, some water polo tours that I went on in my playing days. You spent your time in the hotel room, really anxious or, overthinking the practice that you just had, or really getting nervous about the game that was coming up and that kind of thing. And I think that's just going to drain your batteries, right? So we try and help them. Our brief to them was on this trip, they're only 16, but we said, this week, it's your opportunity to learn how to be like a professional. So you train hard, you look after yourself in terms of nutrition and hydration, you sleep well, but then when you're off, you have your free time and you enjoy it.
I love that you talk about them learning to become professionals, and that there's more to becoming a professional than just the playing. It's obviously all the prep, the nutrition, the training, and having that off time. So that's great. And that's something that they've learned to do while they were over on the tour. Anything that you picked up as a coach, any learnings for you, and then I think you can speak as a coach, any learnings you noticed maybe that the players picked up as well?
There were so many learnings. I think, to touch on the professionalism point, I think it's so important to help them to empower themselves, right? They're going to be the biggest ingredient in this mix, right? All the magic's going to be on their side. So you can have great coaches, you can have a great program, etc. So helping young athletes manage themselves, I think, is really important. Helping them to just kind of, luckily I've got some of the mental experience in terms of mentally helping them rehearse and that kind of thing. So just helping them self-manage was something which was great. And we saw everyone on game day was really calm. They were really focused, and they just managed to channel the right energy into the performance. So that was a great step forward. We'd love to see them crack on and be able to take that to a greater intensity. So when they play at high levels, when they play for South Africa and all those kind of things, if they can take some of those learnings in how to manage yourself, that was a big win for us on this tour.
Going back to the team, coming first in what sounds like the mecca of water polo takes a lot. What were the ingredients that just made a good water polo team? I've never played the sport. I don't know the inner clickings. What What was it? What was that X factor?
So I think generally it's a talent thing, I think South Africa produces wonderful athletes, and I think that's deliberately why we picked the under 16 age group. Last year we did a 19 and under age group, and they did really well. They were very competitive, but we was kind of saying, I think we can test the waters a little bit younger. So we took deliberately under 16 athletes, and our talent was exceptional. To be honest, the tournament, we were head and shoulders the best at the tournament, right? Which gives you a real amount of confidence that, we can actually play this game. And if we get ourselves organized, if we have, programs like Elevate who are kind of fast tracking good talent and helping the good become great, I think South Africa's got a very bright future in the sport.
So when Elevate Water Polo gets a new kid on board, what is the full pathway look like, that the pathway you hope to take them on, the end goal for you guys when you're working with a new athlete?
Great question. So we've thought this through in some detail, right? So we have really an 8-year time frame that we look at an athlete. So we'll typically make contact with them at 15, with the view to then take them through the journey. So we do an under 16 program where we have international tour at under 16. We will then the following year look to make contact again with them in that 17 and 18 year age group. We then have our flagship tour is our under 19 tour to the Next Generation Cup, which we're going again in September, which is just the strongest club teams you could imagine in the water polo world. I mean, you've got some of the viewers might know, you've got Ferencvaros from Hungary, you've got Olympiacos from Greece, you've got CNAB Barceloneta from Spain. So it's just, an absolute dream tournament where we're going to be tested. We're really going to be tested this year at 19 and under level. Then we have an under 23 age group that we are wanting to retain that university age talent into the game. And then beyond that, we kind of, hopefully we've prepared them for the SA senior level so that one day they can represent at World Championships and get back into the Olympics and do South Africa proud on those big platforms. So we take a long view on them. It's not linear. Some kids develop faster earlier. Other kids, just through sheer hard work, will be kind of a mid-tier player at 16. And by, 21, 22, they are just at the top of the group by just focusing and hard work and developing their own skills.
So if anyone wants to find out more about Elevate, where's the best place to do that?
Probably social media. We've got our socials are pretty active. We've got elevatewaterpolo.co.za is our website, and we're running a whole lot of camps. We're so excited. We've got one of the greats of the game is coming out to South Africa in 3 weeks' time. A guy called Felipe Peroni. He's an amazing story in his own right. He's in the final of the World Championships in Singapore coming up in the next few days, and can you imagine if we bring a world champion out to South Africa in 3 weeks' time, straight after he's won his final world championship? Would be amazing.
I mean, we have you here, and I'm sure everybody would want that little bit of piece of inside. Let's say I'm a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. I mean, I know the channels, but I want to elevate my game. Maybe get to somewhere where I can get noticed, or somewhere where I can better my game. Where should my mind, my body, where should that be to get me the opportunity to perform at the highest?
Yeah, I think water polo is a sport that's very physically demanding, right? So if you are, there's no quick fix in water polo, right? Your swimming has to be up to standard. You have to be one of those athletes who's prepared to go to the Virgin Active or the gym on a Saturday morning and do your work. You don't particularly have to spend too much time in the gym, but I think if you are not fit or if you're not in good physical shape, that's kind of on you, right? Beyond that, water polo is a great game where it does require a lot of kind of skill and technicals, but we've seen that the hard work is probably the ingredient. If you gave me two players at 16 and you said one is extremely talented and the other one is extremely hardworking, I would say the one who's really hardworking and has a real passion for the game, by age 23, you would probably have gone further with them. So I think in summary, look after your physicals, do what you need to do. It is a contact sport, it's a physical sport, but if you're prepared to do the hard work, Elevate will work with you.
I love that you mentioned it's a physical sport, a contact sport. When we used to watch it, I never used to realize how much contact there actually is. So definitely have to be prepared for that.
No, the stories are wild. I have friends that are like, no, 2 costumes, mandatory. And then some of my girlfriends, they're like, scratches all the way up and down the leg, full all the time. I was like, what? How is this being allowed?
So people always say, you're a water polo player. Do you cut your fingernails into a sharp point and that kind of thing? To be honest, it's the lower levels where that kind of stuff happens. It's actually as you progress in the game, the less dirty play there is, and the more just like really well thought through physical, moving your body, knowing when to time your movements becomes very nuanced. So I'm hoping, Tim, that your guys and gals that had that experience, don't experience that anymore. That's certainly not, what the image we want for the game. It is a physical game, really demands a lot, but it's very tactical and very, cognitive.
And when it all comes together, it's poetic. It's like almost artistic how incredible it is to get a move to come off nicely. Last thing I want to ask you, Duncan, where to from here for Elevate in the next year? What are you guys planning?
So we've got big plans. As I said, we've got some exciting player development stuff coming. We're bringing one of the best players in the world out imminently in the next 3 weeks. We've got our 16, 19 and 23 programs running every year. We have a great relationship with Schools Water Polo South Africa, and we want to continue to work with them and have an influence on developing coaches. So there's a huge amount going. One of our other big dreams is next year to have a big tournament and bring it to South Africa. So we're going to be engaging with a lot of the top clubs in Europe and trying to showcase South Africa and say, come out here for an event, the Rumble in the Jungle type event. So there's a huge amount on. We're just very privileged to have a great ecosystem in water polo. We have supportive parents, we have keen kids, we have great schools, and we have good schools federations. So we're part of an ecosystem. We're not going to do it alone, but we are super motivated and super excited to have Elevate as one of the key contributors to the game.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to take a quick break now on the SuperSport Schools podcast brought to you by Spur. When we come back, it will be Tim and I with the quiz.
Bringing you the sport you care about the most, this is the SuperSport Schools podcast.
Are you ready?
Yes, Dad.
Happy birthday. Cheese.
Hold me again. And I'm holding on to memories still to come. I'm holding on.
It's more than a meal.
You ready, Nana?
It's living with a taste for life.
Bringing you the sport you care about the most, this is the SuperSport Schools podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the SuperSport Schools podcast brought to you by Spur. And it's time, Alex. Are you ready?
I'm never ready. You see, I love at the end of every month to do the quiz where I get to just sit there, ask the questions. Some of them I've written, some of them have come from our team, and I usually have a whole group in front of me that are answering the questions from a nice board. There's no time pressure. It's all relaxed. And I always think I'm so glad I'm on the side of the table that's not answering the questions. So when you prepare these 60-second quizzes for me, I'll get you back next time or in a couple episodes time.
You won't need to get me back because the quiz, it's quite doable.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
I played to both things that I know, and things that you know.
All right.
Which I think.
So normal quiz rules, 60 seconds on the clock.
Yes, sir.
And I have to answer as many questions correctly as I can.
Alexander James White.
Yes.
Co-host of the SuperSport Schools podcast.
Yep.
Sports lover, referee, and a man that loves nature more than I do.
Yes. All facts.
Are you ready?
No.
For your 60 seconds on the clock.
And do you know on Rugby on 2 on 6, when we play the Impossible Truth at the end of the show, I'm down to 50% success rate. So this better go well for me, Tim, is all I'm saying.
It should.
Okay.
Alex, your quiz starts in 3, 2, 1, go. What country has the longest international rugby win streak?
New Zealand?
No, Cyprus. What club won the first FIFA Club World Cup?
Manchester United?
False. Chelsea. How many teams participated in the 2025 Craven Week?
Oh, Tim. 12?
False. 16. Who won the 2025 Women's Wimbledon Singles?
Oh, Iga Swiatek.
Correct. What other African country qualified for the 2027?
Zimbabwe.
Correct. Where did the Elevate under 16 boys team place in their tournament in Spain?
First.
Correct. Who won the under 18 girls SASOC nationals?
I watched. Oh, Western Province?
False. Boerland. True or false? There are more than 8 offenses which a scrum half can commit at a scrum.
True.
False. There's 7. How many ICC international series have South Africa won?
Or 1.
Correct, and that is time. And you got 5, which is decent.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah, it started out thinking I'm going to get 0. I didn't know the Club World Cup one. I was thinking of guessing Chelsea because they've just done it, and then I
Just done what, Alex?
just won it.
Yeah, so why didn't you guess Chelsea?
I thought you said who won the first.
It was the first.
Really?
Yes, that was the first Club World Cup.
This shows why I do not host football on 216.
And then the international rugby streak, again, it was a bit of a trick question because Cyprus was 28.
Yeah,
Back
and
to
to be
back.
fair, you didn't say tier 1, so I should have thought. I would never have said Cyprus. I like knowing sort of obscure rugby facts, but that's not one I knew.
Hey, look, that's a pretty good score still.
Boerland. I knew a Western Cape team, and then
Yeah,
that's-
Western Cape, that was the boys. That was the
Yeah,
boys on 18.
Okay, all right, okay, 5. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna have to set you a quiz that you're gonna do in a couple weeks' time. So yeah, just get ready for that.
Just remember, this played to your strengths. I asked you
Okay,
Craven Week,
okay.
which you were at. I
Yes.
asked you SASOC Nationals, which you watched.
Yes.
I
Yes.
asked you tennis, which you watched.
Yeah.
So
All right.
remember the kindness I showed upon you.
We'll see. So we have time for on today's episode of the SuperSport Schools podcast, brought to you by Spur. We'll see you next week for a new episode. But for now, bye-bye.
This has been the SuperSport Schools podcast, bringing you stories of our future stars, powered by Spur State Ranchers.